down. The stressors that can come with the pandemic can push anyone to their breaking point. Unfortunately, that stress can mean an increased risk for domestic violence as people are asked to stay at home. Tonight, CBS 3's Emma Quinn shares how one Duluth shelter is seeing a startling increase and the Duluth Police Department's response.
The COVID-19 pandemic is forcing people to stay indoors, which can be traumatic for some. For victims of domestic violence, this situation can be even more traumatic, as they may be forced to stay at home with an abuser.
The trauma that folks we serve experience already is overwhelming, to say the least. And to add on the additional factors of the societal stresses that come with managing a pandemic is unimaginable.
Officials at Safe Haven, a domestic violence advocacy center in Duluth, say they've seen an increase in domestic abuse-related calls. Typically, they see 125 to 130 calls a month, but since mid-February, their executive director, Brittany Robb, says they've seen an 11% increase.
It's a little bit tough because on one hand, we're really glad that they're able to contact us. We're also really nervous for our community because that means they're experiencing more instances of domestic violence.
On the other hand, the Duluth Police Department says they haven't seen a large uptick in domestic abuse-related calls. In fact, according to police call data, domestic abuse-related calls from January 2020 to now are actually down slightly compared to the same time frame in 2019. But Police Chief Mike Tuskin says that doesn't mean it's not happening.
We're experiencing relationships where there was abuse involved previously. I don't necessarily believe that coronavirus, the stay-at-home orders have been helpful. That said, we're not being called as much or about the same.
For those who are seeking help, those at Safe Haven are working with victims and survivors through simple forms of communication to help them individually, but also continue support groups virtually.
Mostly just the technology we have at hand. So we're using lots of phone conversations, we're doing some emailing with folks, and it makes them feel like they're not alone. And to not have that group dynamic, it's hard to envision how they're managing that situation on their own.
One message Safe Haven and Duluth Police want to spread to domestic violence victims: you are not alone.
You are not safe in your relationships. If you're not safe at home, certainly contact the Duluth Police Department. We certainly will work to have you be safe in your relationship, have you be safe in your environment.